do at Kids Campus?
I am currently a teacher assistant with the oldest kids there with the pre-K class, the 4 and 5 years old, 4 and 5 year olds.
How long have you been there?
This August will be 4 years.
Oh, good.
Great.
Congratulations. And you like working with the children?
I love it. I love my job. It's so much fun, and it's great to work for the community college, and it's cool to be recognized like this. It makes me feel like I'm doing my job very well, and it's a nice thing to pass forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So, does Rod have some children there at the center?
he does. He has. I had his daughter Sadie in my class for 2 years in a row.
He saw firsthand the good work that you do with the children.
Sometimes he wouldn't have the time to comb her hair and it'd come messy, so I asked him to bring in a hairbrush and some hair ties, and I would comb her hair for him every day.
Well,
That is so sweet. So you worked with his daughter for, what was her age when you worked with her?
When she was about 3.5 to 4 for early pre-K for one whole school semester, and then this last year when she was in pre-K for her final year at Kids Campus, getting her all ready for kindergarten. And then this will be her last summer, and she goes off.
Kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, we really appreciate your good work.
Thank
and
you.
Your love for caring for children,
Thank you.
and that you even say that it's fun.
It
you know,
is.
to do
I love
that.
my job. See, we're painting today. There's paint all over.
That's okay. That's okay.
To be a kid myself, so it's always a fun day.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Do you have anything else that you would like to say?
If anybody wants to come and visit our classrooms, you're more than welcome. We love visitors. And I like to bring my kids over here too for walking field trips. So if you have any ideas as to more stuff we can do here on campus, I've taken them to the Fashion Design Center. I've taken them to the art and let them look at the different kinds of art. But if you have any other ideas as to any recommendations of what we can do here on campus too, let us know.
How old are your kids?
Mine are 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Yes.
Your own children.
Oh, I don't have any kids myself.
The one you're in your class.
So I say I have 16 kids and then I send them home.
But you have the 4 and 5 year olds.
The 4 and 5, pre-K, right before kindergarten.
Well, it's really delightful to hear your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
And it's palpable, I think, and that's what we want is teachers who love teaching, love children, and have fun. That's what they're going to do.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
so,
Thanks for coming over to the board.
yeah, thank you for coming. We really like to see people when they're nominated to show up, because then we know who you are.
To represent Kids Campus.
Yeah, but thanks for your good work. And, sometime when the Sphere is opened or when the planetarium is opened, your kids would be just the right age to be all wondered. Yeah, great.
Thank you for this
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So proud of you. Now we have the May Well Grab Award, and it's Francelia Lopez from the library, who was nominated by Valerie Nye, and they're both here, so
All
please
right,
come
good.
forward. Oh, probably. Thank you. Sorry. So again, that is Francelia Lopez from the library, nominated by our librarian Valerie Nye. Welcome, both of you.
I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce Fran. It's been my honor to work with her for the last year. She and I started about the same time last summer, although Fran worked for 3 years as a student employee in the library before she came on board full-time. And before I started as library director, people kept saying that Fran had been hired and I was gonna love her and love working with her, and I really have. So I asked the staff, because we all are behind this nomination, some words that describe Fran, and a lot of people had words they wanted me to share with you, but some of them repeated themselves over and over. So some of the words that were used to describe her are patient, reliable, approachable, friendly, thoughtful, hardworking, and easygoing. And because she is the face of the library for a lot of people, she's the first person a lot of people see when they come in to the library. Having her as a positive influence and a positive person is key to being a library where people feel welcome. So we're grateful for Fran's work and for who she is and that she is here.
Great.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank my team here at the library and everyone here on campus. I enjoy working at the library. It's a great place, and I look forward to seeing everyone there to come and visit us and check something out, or, you know, just go have lunch at the library.
Do you have any up-and-coming projects that are, that will be at the library soon?
Well, our ever-popular therapy dogs will be back again in July, so they will be here for finals week. And we are continuing to buy new materials, so we try to purchase the newest books and most interesting things. So we have a really great collection of books and films, and we're preparing for the fall semester too, and our teaching and instruction. So.
Wonderful.
So I have a question.
Oh, and we are going to pilot an iPad project this fall. We're checking out 5 iPads to anybody who would like to check them out. And it's a pilot project. We're going to see how it works. Other libraries do this all the time, and so it's a service we wanted to offer here and just see how it goes.
Is there a length of time that students can check out the iPad?
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks at a
Yes.
time?
In our pilot, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
We think we'll learn a lot in our first 2 weeks, actually. So, so that's an exciting thing we're doing this fall.
You had a question, Martha?
Yeah, so do you take book donations? And what kind of books are most interested in?
We do take book donations, and Harriet Micklejohn is the librarian who works with people who are interested in donating things. We're interested in books that really support the library collection, in that we support the curriculum here. So books that support the curriculum are most interesting to us and are the things that we end up adding to the collection.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, congratulations
thanks.
again. We're so proud of you, Fran.
Thank you very much.
And again, thank you both for being here.
Yes, we really like that. Go.
Okay,
Oh,
go.
sorry.
No, that's okay. Interim President's Report. And we, of course, starting with the first item, leadership to support the bond, the 2018 bond, and the projects that are part of the bond. We were just at the groundbreaking ceremony, as we know, for the Automotive Technology Center. Very exciting and very, you know, we have a lot to look forward to as the building is constructed. And a lot of great support that we got there in terms of the Santa Fe Concorso's contribution and the dealers and the independent companies that support us. And our student, Nathan, did a marvelous job in talking about why he studies and the fact that he's getting a degree in the fall as well as 7 certificates. I mean, he is ready to go and already has a job at Lexus. So the automotive, yeah, it's wonderful. Of course, we're also spending our bond money on the learning space and main campus improvements, a few that I'll touch on, roofing and parking lot improvements. Energy efficiency improvements. Plant operation and management is defining the projects and hiring consultants to do the work. Adult education, way overdue. They're getting, the carpet is being replaced, so that is underway. And of course, improvements to campus safety, plumbing, fire protection, energy efficiency, and the microgrid project. Let's see, let's go on then to number 3, in leadership to support the college's efforts for student success. Our fabulous culinary arts alum, Kyle Pacheco, participated in Pittsburgh at the 2019 Young Chefs Nationals held annually by the Chaîne de Rôtisseurs, the world's oldest gastronomic society. He is a two-time Far West regional champion, and Shen members and chefs and lead instructors, Jerry Dakin, Chef Patrick Mattis, and I attended the competition. He did not walk away with the top national prize, but we are so proud of all his efforts, and he did participate at a lovely fundraiser that is further down on my list here at SFCC. Members of the college's Hospitality and Tourism Advisory Committee hosted Capitol High School's recent graduates and Teacher of the Year, Aaron Girdner, for luncheon at La Fonda to acquaint the students with SFCC and the Hospitality and Tourism Management Program. Roy Martinez, president of the Rising Stars of the Southwest and an advisory committee member, presented a scholarship to Brandon Morales. For the second time in 4 months, we hosted the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Naturalization Ceremony. This time it was at the main courtyard on June 21st, just last Friday. There were 36 new citizens that took the oath, and they represented 12 countries. It's just very moving to see these new citizens take the oath and attend with their families. So proud, so enthusiastic and excited, and Mayor Weber joined us. He gave a welcome, and I was able to give the keynote speech. So it was a beautiful ceremony here at SFCC. So the Marketing and Public Relations Department secured a feature on our incoming president, Dr. Becky Rowley, new president, stepping up to Santa Fe Community College in the Santa Fe, New Mexican recently. SFCC alumnus and retired landfill scientist Alan Ogard has an exhibit called Pinhole Photography and Reverse Perspective at Collective Works through June. The Visual Arts Gallery is presenting the exhibit of a former instructor, Joe Long, My Photographic Life, through July 11th in our Visual Arts Gallery. So the School of Liberal Arts is soliciting submissions to the student-managed Santa Fe Literary Review through November 1st. So turn in your poems, essays, etc. for consideration in our publication. The Foundation in Marketing and Public Relations worked with the planning team to coordinate the Chaîne de Rôtisseurs Culinary Arts Dinner on June 20th, and funds raised support Cooking with Kids and the Chaîne de Rôtisseurs Endowed Culinary Arts Scholarship. It was similar to a dinner we had about 1 year and 3 months ago, where we had guest chefs. Each chef prepared one of the 4 courses. So I think my favorite was Chef Christopher, who used to be at El Nido and is opening up Sacela over by the George O'Keeffe, and he made this fantastic pasta that he cooked in red wine, and then he served it with wonderful mushrooms and Italian sausage. That was my favorite. Everything was good. And then moving on, Mayor Weber and I had a positive meeting with some of our other staff, with Mahesh Ramanujam, President and CEO of the U.S. Green Building Council. And he just said, I'm tired of going to visit places for green buildings in New York and California. I want to come here to Santa Fe because there's a lot going here, and we want to do some partnerships with you. And he was just quite energetic, impressive, and enthusiastic with our program. So that was a great meeting. On June 12th and 13th, 15 staff members from SFCC attended a Government Finance Officers Association ERP Readiness Training. This training was specifically for community colleges and was designed to benefit project managers, project team members, and other staff tasked with leading, coordinating, or participating in an ERP procurement and implementation. And of course, that's something that's on the horizon for SFCC, deciding whether we stick with Banner or go with something different, and we're partnering with Clovis and CNM in this process. Dr. Tim Castillo, UNM Associate Dean, School of Architecture and Planning, and special advisor to the provost regarding the Midtown campus here in Santa Fe, met with me and other members of the executive team. He shared his presentation for UNM's goals regarding the Midtown campus. They are considering a center for the future to include robotics, artificial intelligence, and augmented reality. He indicated everyone can have a seat at the table in planning for the future. I know. And they're, let's see, including us and industry collaborators, other higher ed institutions, and out-of-state collaborators. Dr. Castillo would also like UNM to teach courses at the Higher Education Center from their themed environment track. And Dean Jacobs and Jeremy Mayer will follow up with Dr. Castillo. And he had done this presentation at the, provided it at the HEC, and Megan, I appreciate it, suggested that he come and present here. So, and then last but not least, just today, and it's not on there because it just occurred today, but VP Margaret Peters, excuse me, and also Megan McGarity from HEC and I met with President Tom Stridicus from Fort Lewis College, and he came to meet us and to indicate an interest in partnering with us. They have a partnership with San Juan College where they provide scholarships for those students to attend San Juan College, and we want to do the same thing here. So he was very positive, very enthusiastic, and we're going to pursue that. I think he was talking about and reduce tuition also. He's a very friendly
We
gentleman.
have to reduce our.
No, there. After, for our students that transfer.
Oh, because they're a 4-year?
Yes, they're a 4-year.
They're considered the best liberal arts college, public liberal arts college in Colorado.
Fort Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All their
They have
professors
about
from the university.
3,300 students, he said. He's new, he's been there not even a year. He came from the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. So he was great to chat with.
Great.
Okay, and that concludes my presentation, Madam Chair.
And now, Dr. Cervantes, you wanted to go do some packing?
Yes, I do.
Are you
I'll
going
be,
to come back, or?
I'll check with you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll check with you. I want to go and do
Well,
a little bit of work. But if you need me, I'll have my phone if you need me,
Okay.
and just call me and I'll run over.
Well, and so this is your last board meeting. We had this
Yes.
wonderful party for you yesterday.
Thank you so much for that marvelous
we are
gathering.
We're so grateful to you for
Well,
your
My-
last year and 8 months and really helping,
thank you
keeping
all.
us moving forward at the community college.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair and board members Gamble
you.
and Romero and President Bojorquez Flores. Another
Pleasure.
thank you. I am going to go pack in the office if you need me.
Okay.
Just text me. Thank you. I found my phone. Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, we have the enrollment report.
Okay, I am delighted to be here to give you the enrollment report. Chair Siegel, board members, I am here with my usual partners in crime, and then also Tomasina Ortiz Gallegos, our new Associate Vice President for Student Success.
Who's really going to make these numbers come up?
That's right. We're all working on it. That's right. So right now, for summer, we are 330 down in head count and 121 down in FTE. Credit hours, that amounts to about 1,800 credit hours. And you'll see there with courses, we are one course more than we had this time last summer. That's going to go down a bit before the end of the summer. Our second half of the summer classes, we'll probably end up having to cancel some of those, just to give you an idea. So I'm happy to, well, I also want to report to you that we've our fall to spring retention is 82%.
Good.
Our fall to fall retention is 65%. And we are projecting our graduation rate at the end of the summer to be 25%. all of which is super exciting. Those are all the highest numbers we've had in the history of the institution, so that's exciting. And I think Marcos
When
has
you say
some.
fall to fall retention, you take out those people that have graduated? I mean, so it's just purely
Yes,
students
students
who
were here
should
in the
be-
fall and they return the following fall.
that they should be returning?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I think Marcos has some other good news for
Other
you.
good news.
Thank you very much, Vice President Peters, Madam Chair, members of the board. Something else really exciting that I'd like to report on. So we actually received some great news from the Office of Planning and Institutional Effectiveness last week. And that news is this. So, to put this in perspective before I actually tell you the really fantastic news. In the past 5 years, SFPS graduates who immediately matriculate to Santa Fe Community College normally averages around 85 to 90 students who immediately are enrolling in that fall semester. That's in the past 5 years. Now, in 2018, after literally a couple of years of hard work working with the Santa Fe Public School Administration and leadership, we actually had SFCC space at Capitol High School and Santa Fe High School. We have that weekly designated space now, and we are going to be there for many, many more years to come. So that is very exciting. Now, why is that important? Because I think that having that type of consistency, where sometimes our staff will speak to 20 students, sometimes they'll speak to 1 or 2 students that week. But the fact that SFCC is a consistent presence in our 2 major high schools, I think matters, and it lets our students know that we are there. Now, on top of that, we also, of course, implemented the Ticket to College workshops, which are the AccuPlacer testing and the financial aid workshops right there at the high school campuses. Now, since we started implementing that, the weekly visits and the Ticket to College workshops, we are pleased to announce and pleased to report that we have had an 81% increase in SFPS graduates matriculating immediately to SFCC than in the previous year. Almost 90% increase 2 years prior. So we're very, very excited. We're very, very pleased. And it just shows that the hard work of a lot of people, because it took a lot of people to go out there from testing to financial aid to recruitment to dual credit, people even from the Welcome and Advising Center. It takes a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and we are so pleased to report that we are 81% increase in SFPS graduates matriculating immediately into SFCC.
So how many people is that actually?
That-
170?
So that is an addition of 75 more students than normal, than average.
Okay, great.
Wow, well done.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Keep it up. Yay.
yes.
And that's for spending, how many hours a week is somebody there from the college?
Thank you very much, Board Member Gamble. So that is 2 hours at Capitol High School, 2 hours at Santa Fe High School. So we're averaging 4 hours a week of staff time at the high schools. Another cool thing I wanted to report as part of that stat is that the Office of Planning and Institutional Effectiveness also listed the list of other colleges where these Santa Fe Public School graduates who are matriculating into college immediately are going. There were some out-of-state schools, but of course there are a lot of our in-state schools. There are 8 other schools listed on there from the state of New Mexico. Here's a really cool number. We have 35% more, our numbers are higher, than all 8 of those colleges combined. So that just gives you a really good idea of just the success that we had with this. And now this is just a matter of, okay, now that we have Tomasini here with us, joining us, what can we do now to even go that one step further? Because what we're doing is clearly working, but let's make it even bigger. Let's make it even better, because I think that we have something hot, and let's keep on striking. Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just one other quick question. So does this mean that this increase is that an increase? Does that reflect an increase in the number of students who are in fact enrolling in a college, or is it simply a shift from students who were enrolling in other places, have shifted, and now are enrolling in Santa Fe Community College?
Thank you very much, Board Member Gamble. So actually, it's actually two good things. So number one, what the data is telling us is that more SFPS graduates are matriculating into Santa Fe Community College right away, but we are also seeing an increase in the number of Santa Fe Public School graduates who are just going to college in general, which again is what we want to see, because there's still so many of our students out there that are not enrolling, and we have seen not only an increase with us, but an increase overall in general.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Great.
Would you have
Thank you.
data on how many of those students are getting bridge scholarships and then going on to get the lottery scholarships? Do we know that?
I don't know that, but we probably can get that, right, Josh? We can
I
get
think
those
that would
details.
be very helpful
Sure.
information in looking at how are they paying for
Absolutely.
college.
We absolutely can do that.
Thank you, Chairman Siegel and members of the board, Vice President Peters and colleagues. Who can't get excited off of this energy? It definitely has been a ground-breaking, ground-running opportunity for me to be here these last 3 weeks, and I am so excited to share with you that the collaborations, the energy that's here, that's stewing, and the collaborations that we're making across the campus. We're building pillars. We are definitely moving these pillars to the right direction to help our students and student success from the point of contact of admission all the way through the enrollment and the services that we're providing. And when we talk about all of these percentages, it's wonderful, but now we're gonna work on making those intentional relationships to get them in. And once we get them in, we're gonna be even more intentional to keep them here and help them and guide them in their success. I love the conversations that we're having across campus with regards to what can we do next? We know we're doing something really, really great. Our numbers are great, but we can be even better. And why not strive for that? And it's not just about us who are here today. It's about our teams and getting them excited about what they do and how purposeful they are to what our master plan is. And that's something that we're working on. We've collaborated, and we're developing task force so we can look at the bigger picture and what that looks like, not just for the community college, but for our community and our state in general. So we're definitely excited that we're moving in the right direction, and we have a lot of time left, and there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and we're super excited to start this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you.
And one more thing, Madam Chair, members of the board, before I forget, tomorrow, June 27th, if you all are interested, 5:30 p.m., we are having one of my favorite summer traditions, SFCC Night at the Santa Fe Fuego, which will be at the Fort Marcy baseball field. So if you want to see the Santa Fe Fuego take on the Trinidad Triggers and then see so many SFCC faces, faculty, staff, us throwing out SFCC swag, Todd Lovato singing the national anthem. Yes, Linda Pena throwing out the first pitch. Come on down, check it out, and you can also see me give you all a very bad rendition of the 7th inning stretch. So we hope to see you all there tomorrow at Fort Marcy Park, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any questions? No. After all that? No. Okay, thank you. All right, we don't have a faculty senate report. We have a staff, I bet.
Madam Chair, board members, I'm happy to report that we had a Staff Appreciation Day on, I believe it was the 7th of June. We had close to 125 staff members attend. We fed them breakfast and fruit and that sort of thing, gave away lots of goodies. And it's our annual time to share how much we appreciate each other as staff. We have not had a regular meeting in June because we had the big event, so I'll
Okay.
stand for questions.
Any questions?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody, Madam Chair. members of the board. Today is my last meeting. So on behalf of SGA, we did attend the SF, and I'm going back to May just because I was not able to attend June. But we were able to attend the Sfcc graduation. Also, we were part of the GED graduation. I am passing along final details to elect president, and elect president is preparing for term. Also, SGA was part of Achieving the Dream meeting. Other than that, that's it for mine.
Well, and this is your last board meeting, and thank you so much for your dedication.
Thank you.
And your good representation of the. Of
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's been really nice to have such an active student government
Thank you.
officer here. I mean, you've brought us a lot of information. You've really helped us, I think, understand the student perspective. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and I couldn't have done it without my team either.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
No, alrighty.
So the approval of the consent agenda, which has the work session minutes of May 22nd and the regular meeting of May 22nd. And that's all. Can we have a motion to approve those? Okay, I guess no one wants to approve the minutes.
I move approval of minutes.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, financial report. A brief summary.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members. In front of you, you have the financial report for the end of May 31st, 2019. This report is with 92% of the fiscal year complete. So in June, of course, June 30th, the end of our year. And so in a nutshell, the financials at the end of May look really good. Our operating bank account had a total of 10.3 million. And you can compare that to 5.9 in the previous year. That's a cash balance improvement of $4.4 million. The challenge area really is around tuition and fees, as everyone knows. That's down 8%, and it's a decrease of $628,000 to the prior year. Local appropriations, that's mill levy revenue, totals 15.8 million and is up 12%. And that's really where we're seeing the large kind of healthy growth in the financials for the college. That growth is about $1.7 million in May. State appropriations revenues totals out to be 9.2 million. That's an increase of 5% and an increase of 416,000 to the prior year. Total ING revenues with the decrease in tuition and increases in state and local appropriation, we're up by $1.4 million, and that's up 5%, totaling about 32 million. And if you look at the expense side, expenses were up by 209,000. That's just 1%, and total out to be 29.8. Expenses are right where we think they should be. And ING compensations just down slightly, 184,000. And supplies, expense, equipment, utilities are up almost 400,000 to the prior year, but still on track if you look at where we are in the year compared to budget. Just a few more items. Our public service fund in the financial report, if you have the detailed report on page 4, you can see this detail here. But the conference center has a net positive gain through May of $58,163. I'm very excited to report to you that Kids Campus has a positive net gain of 113,000,
Wow,
which is remarkable.
that's
Truly
great. That is really
remarkable.
great.
They're able to do that. I spoke with Dr. Salih earlier today, and it's really the grants, the effort on grants and finding those innovative and external sources of funding that have been really helpful, because we've been able to move some of the positions that we have in Kids Campus onto those grants, which is really, really helping out.
So is that 100,000 plus, is that from a grant that's come in, or?
Yeah,
sort of-
yeah, it's the result of a grant. So once we get these grants, we can move our current institutional expenses onto the grant, and so that makes the revenues stand out more. You have less expenses, right? So it helps that ending net gain in that fund.
And is that dependent on whether the grant allows for that to happen?
Yes, that's true.
So some grants we get, you can't do that with.
Correct, yeah. But I think that the effort has been specifically for those kind of functions at Kids Campus. So,
Okay,
it's great. In total, the Public Service Fund has a net gain of about $180,000, which will help us in the next area, which is our auxiliaries. Of course, enrollment has affected this area, especially the bookstore. And the bookstore had in the past been able to float food services, which we intend to keep relatively modest income there to keep the prices low, at least in the cafeteria. And in the past, last year, the bookstore had substantial net gain, but now we're seeing that it's just at $28,000. So it could be a lot worse, so I'm happy with that. But at the same time, it's not what we have seen in the past few years. And so, long story short, with the positive increase in public service through the Kids Campus and other areas there, it will help this. On page 6, you have the plant fund, and not a lot to report here. However, I do believe that we did just receive essentially the June disbursement from the county for local mill levy property taxes. We received that information just a few days ago. It's come in a lot higher than I thought. So that's really, really good news for us. Earlier in the year, I had projected that we would hit, we were thinking we would get to $2.2 million. We did our planning around $2 million in new money from local mill, but I think it's going to exceed that $2.2 million number, which is really, really beneficial for us. So, a lot of healthy things happening there. So next year, you will see the categories under institutional designated projects, institutional unrestricted, and mandatory renewal and replacement. Those two columns combined should equal about right around $5 million next year. And then with the $1 million in the ING fund balance, together we'll have about $6 million in cash reserves.
Right.
good.
Yep. And then on page 7, with our receivables, we have a total amount of receivables in the amount of $765,000, which normally that number is about $1 million. But because it's end of year, our grants office has been seeking out those funds and getting, recouping those receivables. So with that, that's our financials for the end of May. A lot of good things happening. The positive things with the legislature, the mill levy, have really helped us with that challenge in the tuition and fee area. And so we're in good shape, I think.
Good report. Any questions? How about a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Thanks, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Legal services contract, we discussed this, just give us a 2-sentence explanation.
Yes, Madam Chair, it is a policy requirement to bring all legal service contracts to the board. This is being brought to you all because our current general counsel represents a institution that we would be doing a transaction with related to bond financing. And so that's why we're asking you to approve this legal services contract so that there's not that conflict with our current Sutton Thayer Brown legal counsel.
I move approval of the legal
Services contract.
services contract.
Is there a
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right. Welding Lab Renovations and Upgrades.
You can sit here.
Again, we spent some time in the work session, so. just an
Chairman, members of the
overview,
board,
please.
thank you. My name is Henry Mignardo. I'm the Executive Director of Plant and Operations Management, and this is Ms. Karen Pittman. She is our Director of Project Management. Thank you. Thanks for allowing us to present before you this evening. The first project we'll discuss is the Welding Lab Renovations. Just real briefly, this is the Sfcc Welding Lab Renovations and Upgrades. This project will provide architectural and engineering services contract for the remodel of the existing welding lab. Our goal is to improve the ventilation system, provide code and accessibility, upgrade the lighting. We're hoping to add at least a minimum of 6 new welding stations. We're also going to verify the capacity of the HVAC system and provide any necessary upgrades. What else do we have, Karen? That's pretty. With that, it's about a $27,000, almost $28,000 project.
And that's for the plant, the designing, the architectural design of,
Yeah, the architectural and engineering services for that upgrade. And then the construction project is yet to be estimated. So we'll give you more insight on that when we get further up.
and we have how many students in that program?
My understanding is we have 16, and we currently have 8 welding stations. So this will almost double what they have the time to use those stations.
And we sort of consistently have at least 16 students. I see Margaret shaking her head, too.
And it's expected that with the automotive program, we may increase that.
Okay, good. Okay, can I have a motion to
So,
approve?
I move to approve the
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're on to the wastewater treatment plant. No, the Stucco. No. The infrastructure. Who's doing the infrastructure plan?
Madam Chair, board members, both Henry and I work on this together, and really what this is the DFA requirement, the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration. They require all public institutions to submit this, have their governing boards approve it. And really what it is, it's very, very similar to the HED capital outlay plan that you approve annually. And so that's essentially what this is, but it's in the format of the forms and other requirements of DFA. So
And rather than forms, it's a database that DFA manages.
that's true.
And once again, we had a lot of discussion about this.
Right, we did have a lot of discussion. This is our capital improvement plan, so we're just approving this for DFA.
Correct.
On DFA's form.
Yeah, DFA's version, but it's the same forms that we approved for HED.
Okay, can we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, we're on to the Stucco renovations and upgrades.
Chairman, members of the board, this is the Santa Fe Community College Fitness Education Center Stucco Renovations and Upgrades project. This project is consistent with input from our architectural engineering services contractor, Cannon and Woods Architects. This project will restucco the selected areas of the FEC building. We'll also stucco the parapets It includes repairs and patches on the stucco, and will also provide a new base coat and a finish coat of stucco. This project has been specified by drawings through Conrad and Woods Architects, and it will include the parapets, several yard walls, and a number of the outside building envelope of the Fitness Education Center. And this project is roughly about $240,000.
And why is it we need architects to decide how we're going to stucco?
Because this is a large facility, there's a lot of safety issues associated with the scaffolding and setting up for this particular facility. There are also a number of areas to consider with the application of this stucco on an existing wall structure that has been stuccoed a number of times. And it's also looking at the areas of the entire facility to see which were the most needed for stucco, including the parapets and the yard walls.
And this is part of our bond issue, or is it in our?
Yes, this will pretty much finish out the first draw of the local general obligation bond for the Fitness Education Center.
I move approval.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on the wastewater treatment, and we did have a lot of discussion about this too in our work session.
Yes, we did. Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. This is the Santa Fe Community College Wastewater Treatment Plan Improvements, Phase 2. This is really just for acknowledgement and approval of our agreement with Ranchlands Utilities. This is a large-scale project that in the long run will allow us to transfer our waste to Ranchland Utility. We have just recently signed an agreement with Ranchland Utility. They're going to provide a service to treat our waste, and we promise to design and build the infrastructure to transfer that waste. There's the agreement. We have a letter written from our engineers, Molson Corbin, that identifies the daily average flow, which is about 15,000 gallons a day. That has been accepted by Ranchlands, so we have a variance between 4,000 and 20,000 gallons a day. Our average is 15. And we did receive a letter of acknowledgement from Ranchlands, so next month we will be bringing you the capital project, and that capital project was estimated by our professional engineers to be about a $700,000 project. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
And Ranchland is the service that is provided to Rancho Viejo.
Yes, ma'am. Ranchland Utility is the wastewater treatment service for all of Rancho Viejo.
Does anyone else hook up to that? Anyone else outside of Rancho Viejo, like the church or
The church, the bicycle plant, we do. Oshara has their own wastewater treatment, but any future upgrades, they're going to be required to transfer to Ranchlands as well. So yes, all of the surrounding area, including the bicycle factory, the church, and eventually us, we will be hooked to the regional facility.
And they have capacity to?
Yeah, their capacity is about 300,000 gallons a day, and they're only treating 100,000 right now, so they have tons of capacity. And our average daily flow is 15,000 gallons, so we're not going to add much.
And what do they do with their retreated water?
They use their retreated water to irrigate Rancho Viejo, and they charge for that irrigation service to the tenants and to the homeowners of Rancho Viejo.
So when they reach capacity, it seems like they will be over.
They have a discharge permit, and when they reach capacity, they'll discharge, and they actually can discharge into the arroyos.
Okay.
Just like we have a discharge permit as well.
And as you were explaining to us, we will not be able to get a permit to upgrade our existing ponds and system because...
Yeah, it's been identified. We had an engineering study that was done by Molson Corbin. We completed that study about a year and a half ago. And they reviewed the entire region, and we included New Mexico Environment Department in that study. And they told us in so many words that they would not allow us to rebuild a new plant. And if we did any large upgrades beyond $1 million, they would require us to transfer our waste to Ranchland. So we really were left with very few options to maintain our own facility.
So what do we use again? I think we talked about this in the work session for irrigation, but just to make that clear.
Currently, we use our own treated water for about 50% of our campus. The other 50% we do buy county water.
And will that continue?
Once we transfer our waste to ranchlands, we will no longer use our treated water. We will actually use county water for our irrigation. Again, county water is retreated water, 60-40. 60% comes from a wastewater treatment plant, 40% from wells.
What does Ranchlands do with their solid waste?
They have sludge, and they haul that to a sludge dump site in Rio Rancho.
Do we do the same thing now?
We have sludge beds, we let it dry, and then actually we have to pay to dispose it as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Where are those sludge beds?
We had 2. Phase 1 of the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, we actually built 4 more. They're right next to the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay. Any other?
We'll probably convert those sludge beds, and they're lined beds. We'll probably give them to the greenhouse and let them start using them for growing different types of vegetables in the long run. We'll have to obviously build a permit for that and go to New Mexico Environment Department, but that would be my vision for the future decontamination, decommissioning of that plant.
Move approval of the wastewater treatment plant improvements.
Second?
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, we move Siemens down to the information items. Now we have the bonds.
Yes, Madam Chair, board members. The agenda item related to the bond issuance is your approval to approve a resolution and notice of sale of bonds in the amount of $7.5 million, which is a part of the $17 million voters approved in February of 2018. The documentation just spells out sort of signatory authority for certain people that will be present during the bond sale. And I urge you to read over the Orange County memo that stipulates some of the responsibilities of board members with this type of bond sale. Any kind of input that you have that you'd like to get back to me, if you could get that back to me by July 7th, so we could update the notice of sale. And so with that, we did this same thing about a year ago when we sold about $9.5 million in bonds. And so really these forms have just been updated with more recent county information, economic information, and things of that nature. So with that, I can stand for any questions you might have.
And this is the $7.5 million that's going to pay for the building of the automotive center, primarily. Or most of it will go to the automotive center. No?
Actually, with this bond issuance, $5 million of it will go to infrastructure to the college. Yeah.
So we're already holding some of the money for the automotive center from the last.
Yes, we've earmarked that and planned it, and made it available to kick off the design and construction. And as you have broken ground today,
yes,
on the automotive center, it's very exciting. You also have. Or will be seeing those invoices coming in from the contractor very soon in large amounts to finance and pay for that construction project. So.
Okay, great. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Martha?
I'm sorry.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The approval of the HED financial quarterly, that's our form that we have to send to HED.
That is correct.
Every quarter.
Madam Chair, we're required to submit this form to HED quarterly. Some of the items on the form are related to the financial health of the institution. There is nothing that we have checked off on this form that would identify any financial risks. We're in good shape. So we've answered no to all the questions. And so with that, that's pretty much it.
A motion to approve?
I would move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then our final one, who's doing this one? It says me. approval of nomination for Labor Management Relations Board member replacement. I don't think we have one yet. So we probably should.
We don't have a member?
We, one of our, Tom Gonzalez left, and we actually don't have another person to recommend to replace him.
So do we table?
So I think we need to table this one.
So I will move to table the approval of the nominations of the Labor Relations replacement.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. Bye. Okay. Then we are in the information items, and we have Siemens. Do you all want to just give us a brief review of what we talked about in the work session? And this is concerning our audit, investment grade audit.
Chairman, members of the board, thank you again. This is the Santa Fe Community College 100% investment grade audit completion, and we just wanted to provide you a brief update. As you all are aware, we went over this quite thoroughly in our work session. I have members of the Siemens team here, and we quite frankly want to just give you an update on the project and let you know that the project has been certified by New Mexico Energy Minerals and Natural Resources Department and has also been approved by Higher Education to move forward. With that, I'll let Siemens just give you a quick synopsis of the project and a couple of the next steps.
Just give us the next steps since we review of the project.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for your time. As Henry mentioned, we received the required approval from EMNRD in mid-June with the subsequent approval from the HED of the IGA, the investment grade audit. So after this informational session, we'll be back in front of you in July requesting approval to move forward with both the performance contracting agreement and the financing package. We anticipate that to be ready mid to late July. I understand the board meeting may be somewhere around the third week of July. After that, so the HED requires an approval from the board. Once the board approves, then we can move to get on the HED agenda. We anticipate the HED not having an August board meeting, so we will request the project approval on the September board meeting of the HED.
And what will they be approving exactly?
They'll, go ahead, Henry.
This is once with the help of Nick's team, once we get all the financial documents and we get NMFA involved and get a proposed finance schedule along with a performance contract agreement, they'll take all of that information and they'll look at this as a capital project and they actually approve the construction of the project based on those funds approvals.
So can the work not begin until they approve?
Correct. We really can't start the project until after September 11th. Okay. Yeah, once we meet at September 11th, the day after the meeting, the HED allows you to start spending money.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. We appreciate you coming and your thorough presentation to us at the work session.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you next month.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
And our other information only is the Title V, our intent to apply for Title V grant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairs, members of the board, pursuant to our policy, we are here, the college is here to inform the board that we have an intention of applying for a Title V grant. It is $3 million over 5 years, and we plan to apply for the full amount. We could do between $500,000 and $600,000. We're going for the $600,000 per year. One of the key criteria that give bonus points for is making sure that our students actually get some sort of training about financial literacy. As many of you recall, our financial aid department did some fantastic work of lowering the loan default rate several years ago from 24% to 14%. We want to build on that success and lower it even further. As you also recall, last board meeting, one of the members of the staff came and shared information about the wellness survey. So we have incorporated that in our application and are going to try to connect students to the resources needed with it on campus and off campus as well. So in a very broad term, you could think about this particular application in 3 different pillars. First, we're trying to increase access, retention, persistence, graduation, and transfer, primarily through using the guided pathway approach, as well as trying to provide resources to the math department, who has been doing some fantastic work of trying to do additional work in the developmental curriculum area. The second pillar is relating to using technology. So there's a lot of research done about using predictive analytics to more effectively helping students, in many cases trying to help students before they actually need a serious intervention from the college. So we could connect them to the right people at the right time, then students may never need actual serious help. The final area relates to supporting faculty and staff by having additional professional development so that they could be having the resources for using learning management systems such as, Canvas and such. So with that, I stand for questions.
Yes.
So, as I remember Title V, there has to be a certain element of innovation in it. A lot of the things that I see listed on here have been going on in many different institutions for a while. So is the requirement for Title V that it be innovative in this institution, and something that we have been unable to do, or is it a matter of being innovative in terms of generating new material, new data, new ideas?
Madam Chair, members of the board, Board Member Romero, thank you for your question. It's actually about ensuring that improving institutional capacity for Hispanic serving institutions. So there isn't necessarily a component relating to innovation. However, the use of predictive analytics and trying to automate a lot of the advising and ensuring the students get the supporters on time is innovative. Not many institutions, most institutions, many four-year institutions are now diving into the world of predictive analytics. Community colleges, that's still a new frontier for us. So I believe if we are effective, if we are actually able to receive this grant, we'll be doing some innovative work in that area.
So that would be the area of innovation, is the predictive analytics.
Yes, ma'am, the use of predictive analytics. So you could think of it sort of like using big data in a really positive way. I know big data has a lot of scary connotations behind it, but if you think about it, we have over 9,000 students we serve annually. And we want to make sure that no matter where you come in our system, they receive the same level of support and services. And when you rely on, when you use technology, then you can make sure that regardless of your background, who you get to connect to, we actually can make sure that everybody gets the needed support services on time and not relying on chance for them to be successful.
So is there an element of multiple measures in terms of, is that any part of this particular proposal to use multiple measures to gain acceptance or admission?
So as you recall from last board meeting, I think there's some questions still among the faculty members about the use of multiple measures. And therefore, only thing we're going to include in this particular grant is what the math department has said that they want to do in terms of using Alex software and trying to figure out if their math emporium is working and trying to figure out what is the best math sequencing.
But I suspect that in item 3, or the pedagogical practices, that could be a developmental thing that would help faculty get on board.
Our intention is to support faculty in their learning and try to come up with the best way to serve our students.
Good, thank you.
So, Title V, you don't get, is there you have to go, when did our last Title V end? It was a while ago.
It's been a couple of years. So
you can't apply consecutively.
Right, yeah, that was what I was trying to ask. So We haven't applied
We have applied last year and we were unsuccessful.
Okay.
And so based on the work we did last year and some additional conversations we've had with people around campus, we sort of revised it. One of the feedback we received was that people, that our reviewers did not understand what we were trying to do. So we, as you can see from the documents I just provided to you, that we tried to create sort of a categories so they could better understand why we're doing what we're proposing to do.
And don't we have to have a match?
There is no match requirements. However, we do expect the institution to take over some of the funding over time. So every year, the institution would take on some additional staffing responsibilities, as well as software.
When we had the Title V grant before, did we actually do case management? I don't.
Not really, not
Yeah.
really in the case management. Last Title V really focused on trying to use data, which we've made substantial improvement in that area, as well as trying to have a conversation about accelerated learning, learning communities, and such, and first year success. Many of the things that actually we've found to be successful right now that we're incorporating in our practice is based on what that Title V grant was trying to accomplish.
And so the addition of case management is something different from prior.
Yeah, so we're really embracing the approach of moving away from the cafeteria model to more focused, relationship-based model, and so this Title V grant would help us get to that next level.
Yeah.
This is many of these items are also, as you recall, included in our strategic plan because we believe that this is what's going to push us to the next phase, from being a great institution to the best institution.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you. When is it due?
July 15th.
Okay. Guess you're busy.
Thank you.
All right. So we removed the policy, the
First
policies
reading,
and
right.
records for the next board meeting. Is there any, have any board reports, discussion, or other business? We have July 24th as a board meeting. Do you all think you can be here?
Oh, we're going to meet in July?
Well, with the new president coming in, seemed like a good idea. Okay, we'll see if
think so.
Kathy and George.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Kat can.
And the board retreat is not on the 10th.
And it's not on the 10th, and we've got a Google Doodle poll out, which I did respond to first. Okay. All right,
Move to adjourn.
is there a second?
Second?
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you all, and we can still make it to the debate.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
July.